One last update from Cardinals Winter Warm-Up as we have concluded most of the interviews for today. John Mozeliak, Sonny Gray, Brendan Donovan, and Ryan Helsley being the four big ones that we heard from today. You guys heard the majority of what we had to hear from John Mozeliak in my first update. If you missed that, check it out in the previous video. But some Cliff Notes version. Nolan Arenado, they're still hoping to get something done with him. John Mozeliak saying that it's a coin flip in terms of if it actually gets done or not. He did say, and I think this is an important note, that it is not 100% necessary for the Cardinals to trade Nolan Arenado in order for them to be able to go into the regular season. They could make it work payroll-wise, even if he is on the team, which goes back to the pitching decisions. He does not want to trade one of their starters if he can help it. So the goal is to be able to trade Nolan Arenado, basically take this team into the regular season, and it sounds like, if possible, they'd like to add somebody for the bullpen, maybe a right-handed bat as well. He also added multiple times today. He thinks this team can be better than people expect, and that was a sentiment shared by most of the people that we talked to today, as you would expect from the people that are involved within the organization. Sonny Gray specifically said, though, he wants to be here, and he made that commitment last year. He wants to see that thing through. Now, he did have a bit of a disclaimer on that. He said, right now, this is where I want to be. He made that decision this offseason. He doesn't anticipate that changing. However, we'll see. He left it open-ended as to whether or not next year he would be back, or even as soon as, the trade deadline. Things can change. But right now, this is where he wants to be. He sounds very committed. He also added that he has seen after 1 year, this was probably a decision with the youth movement and a reinvestment into the minor league system that the Cardinals have needed. And he said, if you're stuck in the middle, you have to pick a direction and then go all in on that direction. He added that he has been on teams before that have won with this kind of a youth movement. He hopes to see something similar here in St. Louis. One other thing from Sonny Gray that I found to be interesting, and this will get us to Brendan Donovan, he said the clubhouse is now the kids. It is the youth movement. They have to take ownership of what this team is going to be, and said that that's up to him and the other veterans to make sure that they feel comfortable in doing so. So I anticipate Brendan Donovan being a big part of that leadership group. He spoke about that a lot today. He did also talk about his approach and how it's a bit of a cat and mouse game with pitchers feeling comfortable throwing the first pitch strikes because he was so disciplined as a hitter and so patient as a hitter that now he has to be a little bit more aggressive, and it'll go back and forth on that. Him talking about that, we'll hear more from him on the show next week. I found it to be really interesting. Brendan Donovan also, he did say specifically he wants to get more involved in the community. So I think him talking about his charitable efforts is something that we'll hear more of in the future. He sounds like somebody that is very comfortable in his own shoes right now and is really growing into a leader on this Cardinals team. Last thing here, and this is Ryan Helsley, who was the last man to speak today to the Cardinals assembled media. He did talk about arbitration, how happy he is that he can avoid that process this year after agreeing to a contract with the St. Louis Cardinals. I did ask specifically, would he be open to an extension? Because he said the Cardinals have not extended any kind of extension talk with him. He basically said in a roundabout way, he's really appreciative of everything that the Cardinals have done, but it did not sound like that's something he's expecting, nor something necessarily that he would be all that interested in right now. He's ready for the regular season, and we'll see how things play out from there. Last thing, he was asked about being a starting pitcher. This is one of my pet projects. It sounds like he's committed to being a closer at this point in his career. So that's the update from day one of Cardinals Winter Warm-Up. I will be back here on Monday when Ollie Marmol and the DeWitts are scheduled to speak. Tanner Hendrickson will have your updates tomorrow. So from day one of Cardinals Winter Warm-Up, I'm Brandon Kiley.